So here now, as an advanced beginner, this is another acceptable toolbox to have when you're starting out. And as the same thing with the intermediate video, these kinds of tools, it's good to have at home, but you don't need to worry about having these tools in the beginning, starting out, if you work for someone in the shop, because usually they'll have things like a scanner, and when you're starting out, they won't let you do electrical work anyways. So, but it's good to have if you're gonna do your own electric repair and diagnosis if you're at home. And since this is a kind of more advanced level, it's good to get some practice. Maybe take some courses on electric diagnosis and maybe do some small projects on electric circuitry to start off with. First, we'll start off with a tool that you'll definitely need, and that's the scanner. As an advanced beginner, you'll definitely need a scanner. And this one here is the Pro version, the MD808 Maxi Diag Autel. There's cheaper scanners out there and a bit more expensive, but this does the job for most of the things you need because it has live data which you can read while you drive, like wheel speed sensors, and you can get all the codes that you need. And it does about maybe 70% of the vehicles out there on the road. And this one here has free updates for life, so I can always load it up, and if there's newer cars down the road, I can receive those updates into this scanner. So that's a good thing. This one costs about 300 bucks. You could go with cheaper scanners too, but I like to get something that can do a little bit of everything. And even though this is kind of an intermediate type of tool, even a beginner could use this. I just lump it in as this advanced because it's going to be all electrical. And with the electrical, you want to be a little more careful when you're working with live circuits in your car. So that's why I threw it in there. Next, we'll move on to this toolbox. So you get some clamps if you need for jumper wires. So it's good to have a test light. It'll show you if you have voltage going in or not, or ground. And next you got your digital multimeter. It's got volts, amps, ohms you can measure. And these are kind of beginner intermediate tools as well, but again, electrical. Yeah, this can measure how much volts you get with the power and ground, so that's good. And this one here is a power probe, which I'd say more advanced tool to have because it works like a multimeter and a test light combined, but it also has another feature, which is you can apply power to your electric circuits and ground, and that can be a good thing. So if you have something that's not working properly, you can, and the battery's too far away to test your component, you can hook this up to the battery and then go to the power side of the component and give it power and see if your component turns on. And if it does, then you know you have a good component. If it doesn't, you know you have a bad component. But the problem with this is that if you hook it up and test your components the wrong way, you could end up frying the computer in your vehicle. So you always want to be careful when it comes to testing live circuits. Alright, so there's that. And then moving on to here is mostly the soldering kit you'll have, like extra wires, jumper wires. You can test. You have like another jumper wire here with a fuse, with a fuse breaker attached to it in case you send power the wrong way. You protect your circuits with this fuse breaker. Zip ties, wire harnesses, stuff like that. You got your heat shrink for soldering. You'll have a lot of test wires, heat shrinks, right, different types of gauge of wire, right, thicker gauges, smaller gauges, you know, terminals. If you got bad terminals, you can hook up your own. And more terminals, more wires. Right. And then in this bag we have more clamps you can use. If you're using a voltmeter, you can stick the black lead and this clamp to the ground, so it's easier to test for voltage using these. Then lastly, we have our soldering kit. So whenever you have to repair wires, you can use this. You'll use a soldering iron. There's the rosin flux you'll need, and the rosin solder to repair wires, your wire stripping tool, and dielectric grease. And that's pretty much the basic essentials you'll need as an advanced beginner in automotives. If you plan on doing your own electric repairs or doing installs with, you know, different aftermarket electric components, this is what you'll need. This is what I use. It gets the job done. It's not much, but it does a lot of the work. So yeah, don't underestimate how much you can do with what little you got. And again, this is all, I lumped this all in advance because it's all electrical stuff, and the shops won't let you usually do this type of work on the cars there. So until you become, you know, maybe a third year, fourth year apprentice or journeyman. But if you're still starting out, then at least you can work on your own projects and get some experience before you move up and save a whole bunch of costs on electric repairs. So there you go. I hope you liked this video. Make sure to hit subscribe, like.
Automotive for Beginners.